where we dive into the heart of cinema's most unexpected moments. Every story has a twist, but some twists leave you speechless. Are you ready for the twist? The movie Vendetta begins its story when two police officers head to the factory where two of the city's most dangerous criminals are located, who are also the most notorious drug dealers. The officers inform their chief and tell him that they are on their way to the factory, and they ask him to send support forces to apprehend the criminals. But they arrive before the reinforcements, so they decide to enter the factory by themselves. When they arrived, one of them was shot in the head and the gun fell from his hand, so he entered the adjacent room where his manager was. However, one of the criminals, named Griffin, followed him in to kill him, and when the officer saw the criminal's foot, he shot him before he could hit him. The criminal fell to the ground injured. Meanwhile, the officer reassured his friend and then went to apprehend Victor, Griffin's brother. Victor saw the officer and tried to shoot him, but he managed to dodge it at the last moment. Then Victor pulled an envelope from his leg, and during that, the gun fell from his hand. And when the officer searched for the gun, Victor surprised him and started hitting him, knocking him to the ground. In the end, Victor managed to strangle the officer, but fortunately, the backup forces arrived and began storming the place. They managed to capture Victor and his brother, while the officers won the battle. However, Victor threatened revenge and said, "I'll get out, and the first person I'll kill is you." But Officer Mason didn't care about his words. Then he and his friend left in their car. Meanwhile, he returns home happy with the news he heard, as he discovered that his wife is pregnant and they will be having a child. The next day, he goes to the police station where he works and discovers that Victor and his brother will not be in prison because the evidence the police have is insufficient, and there are no witnesses yet who have testified against them in court. His joy turns into deep sorrow because of this news, and when he leaves the station to check on his wife, he is surprised when Victor answers instead of his wife, saying to him, "I came to see you as I promised." And when he hears that, he quickly returns home. On the way, he calls his friend Joel to ask him to bring the troops and come to his house. And when Joel arrives home and enters, he finds his wife murdered and Victor at the scene, aiming his weapon at the wife and child. Mason tries to kill Victor, but Joel warns him, saying, "Don't kill him, because Victor has surrendered." As a result, the police arrest Victor. After the funeral, Joel goes to his friend to try to comfort him and ease his burden, saying to him, "You did the right thing when you left the gun and didn't kill Victor. You should leave the house and go to a place that brings you peace of mind." But Mason was listening to him in silence and was not interested in his words or consolation because his thoughts were solely focused on revenge. After that, he heads to Griffin's house and calls Joel to give him his address and asks him to come quickly and bring backup. And when the phone hangs up, Griffin enters and kills the two men who were with him, then goes to execute his plan and kills Griffin. And when Joel enters the place, he is shocked by what Mason has done. At that moment, the police arrive quickly, and Mason surrenders himself, and the police arrest him. Then he is transferred to the prison where Victor is, and we discover that Mason committed this crime to enter the prison with Victor, so he could take revenge on him. Now we meet Michael, the prison warden, who welcomes Mason and says to him, "Tell me what you need, I will be here to provide you with everything." Then he added, saying, "I will put you in the laundry area because it is quiet and there are no problems there like in the other places. Try to stay away from trouble here for 5 years." After the meeting ends, Mason takes his food, but Victor comes and sits in front of him, then takes the food tray from him and starts eating it in a provocative manner. Victor says to him, "Don't even dream of thinking about revenge, because this prison is mine, and you can't do anything here because you're alone." Then Mason leaves him without a reply, his eyes filled with hatred and vengeance. After that, Mason enters the laundry where he works, and suddenly 3 prisoners attack him. He keeps defending himself and hitting them, but because of their number, they manage to overpower him and beat him violently. One of them took a knife, but fortunately the guard arrived just in time and prevented them from killing Mason. Quickly, the guard informed the other guards and asked them to come to save Mason. And when Mason sits down, he finds himself in the prison hospital and sees Joel beside him, who says to him, "Your actions will not bring your wife back to life. Try to live your life without revenge." But Mason was not interested in Joel's words, and he was determined to take revenge for his wife and son. After that, Mason leaves the hospital and returns to prison. He starts talking to the guard in the prison yard, asking him to introduce him to the prisoners who beat him. Then the guard told him about the men who beat him, Victor and Dajem. And Michael, the prison warden, knew everything but remained silent because the prison director was working with Victor in drug trafficking. and he was helping him both inside and outside the prison. The guard told him that he needed to kill a large number of the gang members in the prison to take control of them, like Victor, who relies on his two men, Draxon. The next day, Joel visited him and informed Mason of all the information the guard had told him. He asked him to find out who was helping Victor outside the prison, and he was trying to learn everything about Michael. But unfortunately, one of the guards overheard their conversation quickly, informed Michael, and told him that Mason would discover everything about them. Based on that, they started to come up with an alternative plan to search for Mason. After that, Mason returned to the room and decided to take revenge on those who had beaten him. He entered the first one, hit him hard, and a confrontation ensued until he finally managed to kill him. Then he turned to the second one, hit him in the face with the broom, and when he fell to the ground, he strangled him with the broom until he died. When the third prisoner learned what had happened, he went to Victor and said to him, "Of course, Mason is the one who killed them, and we must act quickly before he kills me too." But Victor angrily said to him, "Leave it, I'll handle it." Inside the prison, Mason was surprised by one of the people who entered his cell as he hit him hard. Mason defended himself, and after a fierce battle, he managed to subdue him. However, unfortunately, the prison guard came and hit him on the head with a baton, causing him to lose consciousness. Then Michael, the warden, came and said to him, "Although I am glad you are still alive, I do not allow any transgressions in my prison, and if you were a police officer before, you will cause me a lot of trouble." But Michael added that he wouldn't kill him. Meanwhile, Michael's assistant called Joel, Mason's friend, and said to him, "Come quickly, because you can't let him wreak havoc here, and he is now in the hospital." When Joel heard the news, he quickly went to the prison to check on his friend, and when he entered, he was surprised to find Mason sitting on the floor with a white bag over his head. At that moment, the prisoners attacked him from behind Joel and started beating him violently. At that moment, Joel lifted the bag off his head and started to defend himself, but his hands were tied. He tried to save Joel, but Victor choked him and quickly subdued him, causing him to lose consciousness. Then he dropped him to the ground, and all the prisoners attacked him, starting to beat him until Joel died in prison. Michael and Victor were behind this, so that no one would know who killed him. After that, Mason went to meet Michael and said to him, "I agree to the deal with you, and we will work together." Michael was pleased with Mason's decision and said to him, "This agreement will benefit both of us. You will help me inside the prison, and I will provide you with any assistance you need." Mason agreed to this deal in exchange for Booker becoming Victor's assistant, with the condition that he would be able to kill him and get rid of him. Indeed, Michael agreed and they signed the agreement. After that, the guards entered the place where Joel had died, and Booker was there too. Michael told him that he wanted to discuss an important matter, but Booker was surprised by the guard's sudden entrance. After that, Michael cut the arteries in his hand, and when the bleeding started, Booker died. After everything was over, Mason returned to his room. Meanwhile, when Victor learned what had happened, he was shocked and said to Michael, "Of course you helped him with the murder." Michael replied, "Yes, I helped him, and I no longer need you because I made a deal with him, and he will help me inside the prison." Victor got angry and grabbed Michael to choke him, saying, "I won't let you live after what you've done." But at that moment, the guard entered and aimed his weapon at Victor. Victor said, "I will not stay silent about what happened, and I will take revenge on all of you." Then he went to eat with the other prisoners, and suddenly Victor entered, angry and wanting to hit the guard quickly. And when the other guards arrived, they took him away from the place. In this case, Victor was planning to get rid of them. And when this happened, Victor laughed at him. Then he said to him, "Once again, I will forgive you because we had an agreement between us. But the agreement between us is now void because I found out that you went to jail first when we were arrested, and you hid all the evidence and allowed the witnesses to come to the court. And thus, you had helped a criminal like Victor, and you are responsible for the murder of his wife and son." And when Michael heard his words, he became very angry and said to him, "I will transfer you to another prison." And after he finished serving his sentence in solitary confinement, Michael decided to take revenge on them before they killed him. So he went to the rooftop where Draxon, Victor's second assistant, was training. But as soon as he arrived, 2 prisoners attacked him and beat him. But Mason was able to defend himself and hit them. And then he quickly wrapped the rope around one of them and pointed the knife at his neck, then threw him from the top of the building. But the prisoner fell on the guard, and one of the prisoners took the guard's weapon and killed him. Then a confrontation broke out between them, and the situation became very chaotic. Victor was holding a weapon and wanted to kill the guards. And when the bullets ran out, Victor attacked violently, and in the end, the beating was severe. Unfortunately, Mason could not avoid the bullet that hit him. Then Victor gives the gun to Michael to kill him, but Victor takes the gun angrily and kills both guards. So Michael said to him, "The biggest mistake you made was going and making a deal with my substitute." Meanwhile, a group of prisoners attacked Mason, but he was able to defend himself quickly. Then he put on the iron gloves and struck them all one by one. But Michael's assistant aimed the gun at Mason, but Mason was quick and took the gun from him and killed him. And after he was done with him, Victor attacked Mason and continued to beat him violently, and in the end, he shot him. Then he took the gun and killed him, but he was surprised when he discovered that Michael was still alive, with the gun pointed at him. And before Michael could kill him, a large group of police officers quickly intervened and arrested Michael after discovering the crimes he was involved in, as well as learning about the contract he made with Victor regarding drugs. And Michael continued to glare at him with anger and hatred, saying, "Soon I'll see you in prison." If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification button to get more new videos.